Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing with another edition of South Texas News and Reviews. It's Saturday, May the 9th, 2015, and I think I'll go film a few items over at Del Mar College, and show you some of the fallacies that are going on around here, and I'll explain that after a bit. I'll be right back. I think I've got enough seconds on the banner here to satisfy everybody. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm over at Del Mar College. This is a wall, as you can see. I don't have to explain that to you. But above that's the top of this $250,000 greenhouse that was built over here at the Garcia Science Building, East Campus, Del Mar College, Corpus Christi, Texas. Just want to walk around and show you, and then I'll show you inside about the activities going on in this thing. You know, this was off limits to all the biology faculty members for any work to go on in there. It's strictly for research, is what I've been told. And so just want to let you know where your money goes. Okay, it's kind of breezy. I hope you can still hear me with this microphone and so forth. But here's a side view of the thing. And you can see over here there's the exit from the building, and then I guess the perspective of that trash can tell you how extremely small the structure is. I don't know how many square feet. It's you know, it couldn't be 1,000 if that many, but anyway, we'll discuss that in a little bit when I get back to Studio One. Okay, here's the entrance to this with the exhaust fan. Bunker that we used to have. There's a generator in here for power out and so forth in hurricanes and bad storm. But this is the way you have to get into the thing. And this wind is about ready to pick this camera up and fly it away, so I hope you can hear me. But we'll discuss this a little bit further. I'm going to go inside and show you around the inside of this monster, and be right back with you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the extensive number of plants that are raised in here. Like I say, this was slated for straight research. Nobody was welcome to come in here and use it for any other reason except the research grant, I guess, that has been predicated on. I do see a couple of little insect cages. They're trying to raise some fruit flies to feed some other critters around here, but I'm just going to pan around and show you the extensive number of plants that we have in here. And this is the research on plants. This, I think, was a USDA grant. And you can see how full of plants this thing really is. Okay, now I'm coming up on some tomato plants that one of the professors put out here. Okay, and that was great angst when she did that. But I'm going to go for a different angle around here and show you a little bit more of this and how pitiful this is. It's a research facility. Like I say, this is $250,000, folks. Okay, this is to the opposite view about where I shot the others. You can see the tables that have an extensive number of plants on them. And then here are the tomato plants that one of the professors, who was not supposed to use this thing, I guess, put some in here just to see what would happen and grow some things, okay? And the plants do extremely well. Those are two large tomato plants. And that's the only thing in here, and that's not a research project. So I don't know how she got away with putting things in here with all the yelling and screaming that went on about, no, we can't use this for anything but research. And you can see that this facility's been like this most of the spring semester since at least Christmas. So I'm appalled at it. I don't know about you, and you know, since I'm a mediocre professor and so forth, and I'm a liar according to my department chair, then what I'm going to do is just go ahead and pull the plug on some of this stuff and show you see who's what at Del Mar College. Anyway, I know this will make everybody happy over there. I hope the board members are watching, as well as the administration. And our administration is normally asleep at the wheel trying to spend more money for a South Side campus that we absolutely do not need. Be right back with you. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here's the big cooling water tank over here, or water cooling tank, whatever you want to call it, at Del Mar. That's where they cool the water down with the big evaporation towers and so forth and run this through as our air conditioning system. I'm over by the physical facilities department, and I think that's show you the banner on top of that. And then connected to that's one of the best groups on campus over here, and that's this group. Sorry it's jumping around, but that's the security department over here. These are some fine people, folks, and they do a good job. They're very, very helpful. They don't give you any static. They don't tell you any stories. They're very unpretentious and so forth. It's a heck of a good crowd. I hope you can hear me over the wind out here. It's almost gale force. But I can't say enough about the security people. And then we have some people that like to sneak in the building and not sign into security, which is a security risk. So we'll address that when I get back to Studio One. Anyway, you know, that's what happens when you got privileged people around here. They don't have to conform to diddly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is recording. I'm back from Del Mar. Let me go take my seat since this is a one-man show. And I will proceed on. Now, I went over to Del Mar today to film a facility that cost you taxpayers $250,000 roughly. It, I understand, was built through U.S. government grants and so forth and so on. I'm not sure exactly where the money came from. And I do know when that structure went up that the general faculty over there, it was suggested that we not use that thing, that was built for a research project. And I've been a bit concerned this whole entire spring semester plus part of last fall before Christmas that there have been no plants raised in that thing whatsoever. So I don't know how you can do plant research in a greenhouse if you don't raise any plants. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, but you know, what do I know? I'm not part of the elite over there at Del Mar College and these great research projects that we have going, okay? I don't know anything about the research business. I was just in that for many, many years, but I guess I forgot everything I ever knew about how to conduct research and so forth. But I do know that if you've got a $250,000 greenhouse and there haven't been plants in it for at least 4 or 5, 6 months, then I don't think that's a viable research program. So I guess I'm going to have to look up and find out which government agency stuck that money into. And then I'm told, well, that's of no consequence to me since that's government money. Well, folks, every month, if I take a look with great horror how much money is taken out of my paycheck to the federal government, and this is a federal grant, then as the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association and so forth, I've got a lot to say about that. And I'm not shy enough to just go wilt away, no pun intended, as a wilting plant and not take care of business. Now I'm going to come back to Del Mar College after a few minutes. I do want to introduce this. I have a document here. It says Special Provisions, Specification, and Forms of Contacts and Bonds for Memorial Coliseum Demolition. And this was, I don't see a day, I guess it was 1/18/10. It's prepared by State of Texas professional engineer Pedro Anaya, and it's got his seal on there. Okay, Department of Engineering Services, the City of Corpus Christi, and it's 1/18/10. Now in this, it's just come to light that the Friends of the Coliseum had submitted an appeal to the 13th Court of Appeals after the city has gone after 5 of us that signed a bond for this and insists that we have the money and that the city has incurred certain damages. And just because that bond said that it was for $30,000, then, you know, the city of Corpus Christi, that's not a lottery. You don't go for that. You've got to follow the law. And with Carlos Valdez in there as a city attorney at one time, I don't think he could read the law. But I just want to go ahead and give you this provision. Now I do another show, What's Going On in Corpus Christi. You can email me to find out when that's in, or just look at the schedule on the Public Access Channel 10, or you can go into YouTube and put in Janelle Bennett's name, Janell Bennett, Janelle Bennett, and that show will come up. It's predominantly for the taxpayers, of which like I say, I am the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association, and I'm going to really expand more on this. But if you look under these provisions, special provisions, specifications, and forms of contract and bonds for the Memorial Coliseum demolition, this is the original contract between the city and A&R Demolition Company that went in and tore that thing to the ground. Okay. Now it says when we went to the judge, Klager, and he signed a halt in demolition. It did not halt. I can verify that. There were a lot of activity going on at dark in that building, and why the city wants to have that come out too. And you know, I think that's criminal, but that's yet to be seen. If the city wants to press me for more money, and I want to get my money back for having to defend myself against this tripe that they've got. Okay. Now it says, this is the paragraph B-7-11, suspension by court order. The contractor shall suspend such part or parts of the work ordered by the court and will not be entitled to additional compensation by virtue of such court order. Neither will he be liable to the city in the event and for the time the work is suspended by the court order. Okay? That means with the court order, folks, there are no damages that are going to be and expenses and so forth incurred. And why Mr. Carlos Valdez couldn't figure that out, being the Harvard graduate, PhD in law, Supreme Court justice, and everything else, the most brilliant attorney that's ever drew the breath of life, I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to continue that with the Taxpayers Association show. Then before I get there, it says cut abatement to funds and streets. Isabel Ariza, I'm murdering her name, I know. This came out back in April 26th, and it says if we quit giving all these big companies around here that have got plenty of money tax abatements, and maybe we could have enough money with the city through taxes to support redoing our roads, okay, and keeping those up. So I can't tell you how disappointed I am with all the city councils in the last 15 years, the members and so forth. And then I'll get into the ploy by our mayor, council members, and local yokel elected officials to do in wind energy. They don't want wind energy and solar energy as a part of it because they're making too damn much money with the oil and gas business. And let's go ahead and deplete that and go and have it cycle through up and down. But you know, if we would institute good, prudent wind energy and sustainable energy like that, we wouldn't need to be worried about where we're going to get the next cubic foot of natural gas or oil in the future. We could, you know, preserve that for our children, our great-great-grandchildren, and great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren. But no, we've got to have the money now and pad our pockets with that. And I'll get into the way I feel truly about the city council members and the mayor at a different time. Okay, they're all for oil and gas, and to hell with the taxpayers. And let's give abatements away and never get our streets fixed. Now, one thing I've been after also, I'm going to change gears here, and then I'll come back to problems at Del Mar College. But I have been following the antics of the Coastal Bend College Board of Trustees and the president up there, and with the nepotism involved when the president, Dr. Beatriz Espinosa, hired her sister, Dr. Julia Garcia, as a dean up there, and then dean hired her daughter, and it's nepotism supreme, folks. And there's so many people up there, like the county attorney and the district attorney, that want to deny that that's going on. And so I guess, you know, my next step, as I've said several times, I'm headed for Austin here soon. I'll be doing the summer classes. I've got a slight break, and I'm going to sit down up there and jump up and down and raise hell about it, because it's just not right. Okay, and it's nepotism, I mean, about as blatant as you can get. Now, another thing is with this president up there, she thinks that she can rule everything with an iron hand, and that she can do pretty much anything she wants to, and that is with the blessing usually of 4 of the Board of Trustees members that have the idea that we can turn her loose and she can do anything she wants to, and to hell with the students and the taxpayers and the general public and everybody else. Well, I want to see if that can come to an end. Now, here's what's happened lately. Dr. Beatrice Espinosa has this burning desire to shut down the aviation department there. That's where students can go and earn their certificates in power plant and airframe and become aircraft mechanics and get good jobs and so forth and so on. And there seems to be a problem up there with one of the administrators. He goes by doctor. He's an attorney at JD, and why he insists on the Dr. Bear, I don't know, B-E-H-R, but that's what happens at times when you get a swell head. But it says, and I've talked about students protesting that. There are 12 of them up there that need to get through. The president up there wants to shove through in a month or two the finishing up their semester and then shutting down the program completely. And she says it's costing them money and so forth. And the man in charge of that up there, Mr. Carolyn, okay, he insists that no, they are in the red. I mean, in the black up there, not in the red. So this past Monday, I think it was the May the 4th, they had another special called Board of Trustees meeting up there, and the one before that, the week before, they wouldn't allow anyone to speak at public comment time, and in fact they didn't offer public comment, but I guess the one that was held up here last week, they did allow some of the students and people to discuss that with the Board of Regents, okay, or Board of Trustees up there. Del Mar College has Board of Regents, okay. So here on the front page, a couple of days later, on May the 6th, this would have been a Wednesday, the meeting was held on the previous Monday, then Mr. Clough up there has finally seen the light as a reporter and is reporting what goes on at these meetings. So here's the headline. This is above the fold, as they say, on the Beeville Bee-Picayune on Wednesday, May the 6th, 2015. Now, when I print this out, I am an online subscriber to the Bee-Picayune, and I can't blow it up and print it, so I'm going to have to use the handy-dandy magnifying glass, but I do want to read some of this for the folks up there. And I would like to tell the students at Coastal Bend College, the aviation students, and then I understand that some of the nursing students have got some bad problems up there, and they spoke. I'm proud of you people, okay? Now, it's freedom of speech, folks, in this country, and it's not what Coastal Bend College Board of Trustees and the president up there and the Dean of Workforce think. You know, it's not, as the Neville brothers said, it's freedom of speech as long as you don't say too much. So as long as you tell the truth and you're not pulling anybody's leg and you don't totally tell any lies about someone and disparage their good name falsely, then folks, have at it. That's your right. As I say, I'm going to introduce this. My forefathers, since the 1760s, 1770s, fought for my right to freedom of free speech. Okay, my father, bless his heart, he fought his butt off in 3 wars in order to do this. I could not go into the military, but you know, what can I say? And I've always appreciated my forefathers. I had a grandfather in World War I. My dad was in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And he was horrified with what we've come to as a country, where people try to squelch your freedom of speech rights in this country. So I'm just going to go ahead and read part of this. And I want to thank the faculty members at Coastal Bend College and the students up there and so forth and so on for sticking up for themselves with this Board of Trustees. Now, they've got 4 of them, folks, that are diehards up there, no matter what Dr. Beatrice Espinosa does. She's all right about this and nothing wrong with it. And I don't know what keeps that love affair going, but something's got to give, folks. And things do not add up with people that are talking about this aviation and how much money it's costing and so forth, this aviation program. So somebody is not speaking the truth, and I think it's going to be flushed out here pretty quick. Then they were supposed to have a general meeting, and this was tabled until that on the 20th, and now I understand they've postponed that Board of Trustees, the regular one, to the 27th. For Lord knows what reason. Okay, I'm going to be there. I'm going to film it. Okay, so I'm giving everybody a forewarning. I will be at that meeting, and they don't like that either. Okay, now I'm going to focus in on this. Like I say, I'm sorry, but this is really small print. It says turbulent times remain at CBC, meaning Coastal Bend College. Trustee wants bottom line figure on aviation program. It says the Coastal Bend College Board of Trustees has placed the CBC aviation program into a holding pattern. Okay, after a 90-minute special meeting Monday evening, and faced with both conflicting and unavailable data, trustees postponed any discussions or decisions on the fate of the program until their next regular meeting. Now, like I say, this is real small, folks, and this this magnifying glass isn't cutting it. Okay, I'm going to do the best I can. Airframe and power plant technology professor Raymond Carolyn began the session by saying the what is it? I guess information, okay, the college was using to justify deactivating the program was incomplete. So I guess I'm not going to be able to read a whole lot of this thing. But let me just give you the bottom line, and you can go online if you want to get, I think you can get a single copy of this without having to pay the fee for the online service. I pay the yearly fee and go ahead and do this because I'm extremely interested in what goes on up there, and I have been since the firing of a good friend of mine, Dr. Eloisa Garcia, under false pretenses when she was the director of nursing program up there. Okay, she worked her backside off to take care of things, and the trustees and the administration of Coastal Bend College, much like Del Mar College, do not appreciate anything except their own power. Okay, and like I said, people in power will do anything to keep their crown. That's in a song by Mary Gaither. Okay, now, but it says the trustees split on decisions surrounding aviation program. So since there is an awful lot of controversy about the numbers that Mr. Bayer presented and the numbers that the director of that program, Mr. Carolyn, have, then some of the trustees were smart enough to go ahead and postpone any decisions about whether that thing should be shut down or not. And the reasons for that I think are very poor to shut it down, and the reasons to keep the program and get the existing 12 students through without breaking their backs with a accelerated program to get their certificates by requiring them to go there into class 8 to 5 days a week to finish up early. Some of those people have got to work, and they're fitting in their studies around their work, and their families are working, and they're just trying to get ahead, folks. I mean, there's some very, very sincere, honest people that are students there, and they don't need to be treated like that, okay? Not at the hands of poor, unreliable information. And, you know, and this like I say, it goes back to the nepotism, folks, and then I wish those 4 trustees, headed by Mr. Loshi, I guess is the way he pronounces his name, I wish they'd get real and take a look at what they're doing to the community and the taxpayers and the students up there. And that's not the reason your public voted you in up there, folks. It was to take care of the interest of the students, taxpayers, and the Board of Trustees and the administration comes in second. All an administration should be hired to do is not to hire their entire family, sisters, nieces, brother-in-laws, and more nieces and nephews and stuff to get on that gravy train, let's say. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to provide the faculty up there with what they need to teach their classes and to get the students through these programs. That's the whole bottom line, and Del Mar hadn't figured that out, Coastal Bend College hadn't figured that out, and a lot of these government elected entities. Okay? So my hat's off to you fine folks up there at Coastal Bend College, and all I can tell the students is keep it up, folks, and put the pressure on them, and they need it. Okay, then I'm going to switch back to something that's happened at Del Mar College. There have been ads run on our local TV, KRIS Channel 6 here in Corpus Christi, Texas, and it's a kind of they call it a teaser, so you tune in at 6 o'clock Monday, and that'll be, let's see, today is the 9th, 10th, 11th, what would that be, the 12th Monday, okay? No, I guess that is the 11th. If today's the 9th, then it's Sunday's the 10th. Yeah, it'll be Monday the 11th of May, okay? On Channel 6 News, local news at 6 o'clock. And they've been advertising On Your Dime. Now, let me give you a little bit of background, and I'll ask you to please watch it, because taxpayers, if this doesn't fry you, then I don't know what it's going to take to get you off of your cans out there and go vote in a new Board of Regents, and then put the pressure on to, let's see if some heads can roll over there at Del Mar College for the fine pickle that you've been in financially over there, okay? And I'm talking about accounting irregularities. Now, back in August of 2013, I asked for the records to indicate that when massive amounts of money were being written off as bad debts, that everything had been done to collect that, and the chief financial officer at that time indicated that he had done everything possible to try to collect those debts, and then he wrote a letter to the president authorizing or asking for authorization to write that off. Okay? Now, this is what happened. I asked for all of the write-offs and so forth for a few years prior to that. I got about a 4 to 5 foot stack of paper to go through, and I also asked for verification that someone had tried to collect that debt before it was written off. Now, I went through that, and I asked a person, a dear friend of mine, Mr. Ed Bennett, if he would go over there and take a look at the book, since I'm not an accountant, and I'm not a CPA, and I really don't know that I would know what I'm looking for, but except I need an explanation of that. So he kindly went over there, and we stumbled across 3 key pieces of paper. And one of them was a list of debts that were written off, and then the other one was a request for that write-off authorization to the president, and then it was a third paper that says, you know, let's go ahead and this verifies the write-off, go ahead and do it. Now, what I uncovered with that, or I should say what Mr. Bennett and I uncovered with that, was $185,000 write-off. Now, in that, I asked for verification that those write-offs had been done only after all exhausting of the collection process was done. I did not have any single evidence, 0 documents indicating that anybody had ever contacted any of those people and requested have them pay up. No certified return receipts, no demand letters, no court filings to try to collect that money. Absolutely nothing. Okay, $185,000. Now in that we found that Texas A&M Kingsville had owed Del Mar College $54,000, and we still have not been able to wrangle out and figure out from either Del Mar College or the Texas A&M Kingsville what happened. Now we're being stalled out with that, and so on and so forth and so on. Now also Mr. Bennett requested some general ledger information and backup to try to figure out where that money was and came from and where it was going to go and so forth. And the estimate that he got for his search, for the search of records that he wanted, was $26.7 million. And it was going to take 120 years to complete the search, and it was 105 million documents that were going to have to be provided. Now folks, that's just a ploy on trying to get somebody to go away. Now the public relations people over there indicated on several occasions that the reason for that, this is after Channel 6 News went over there and put it on the air and interviewed the PR person, that person indicated that it was a mathematical error. And then when the Dallas Morning Star got a hold of that information and ran an article on that huge amount of money, then when that person was contacted again, oh well, it was just an excessive amount of information that was asked for. No longer was it a mathematical error. So at Del Mar College, you just wonder where they're going to snatch the next answer from. Just out of the air somewhere, okay, or out of the John maybe. It's insane, and I've had problems with them, and I'm going to see if we can bring that situation to a halt and have the appropriate people have to step up to the plate and justify why they do such things. So please watch that 6 o'clock show. The quote teasers are on now about, On Your Dime, I think was the name of it, and Channel 6 is running that frequently, so check in on Channel 6 if you get this on YouTube before the fact. Now this is going to air on public access Channel 10 after that meeting, and then after the Board of Regents meeting over there on the next day, which would be the 12th, okay? Those usually start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so if you're infuriated about what you see, then why don't you go over there at public comment at the Board of Regents meeting. It's their very regular monthly meeting, and just get up there and with you 3 minutes and ask them what's going on. Why do you condone this? And now that they've written off $2,838,000 and some odd dollars, then I want to know, as the Taxpayers Association president and a taxpayer. It's very, very discouraging to me to have that happen. Now, with my activities on this show for at least, I'd say 15 years plus, then I have questioned Del Mar College on many occasions because I pay dearly taxes for that, and I'm also what I consider to be an extremely dedicated faculty member at Del Mar College. I've done far more in a way what I should have done, but my only goal is if I'm going to be a taxpayer and I'm going to be a professor and my students depend on me, then I'm going to give them the very best that I can do and make sure that they can succeed in their chosen educational endeavors. And I don't really give a damn what the administration and what the Board of Trustees thinks about me, okay? So just go ahead and ask around to the medical facilities around here and see if I've done my job properly over the last 25 years. I came here, and it horrifies me to think I've been here having this much fun this long, and I have, folks. I'm dead serious. I enjoy what I do, and I'm not enjoying having to divulge this information. But if it needs to be done, I'm not a slacker. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna wilt away, and don't have any fear at all of Del Mar College, the Board of Trustees, the administrators or whatever. Anytime they want to try to terminate me, like they did a good friend of mine, Bruce Olson, they're paying the price for that. And another one when they fired one of the best nursing professors in the country, Dr. Janelle Bennett, because students were complaining, then, get on with it, Del Mar College. Lock me out, fire me at this stage of the game. Frankly, my dear, as Brett said, I don't give a damn. Okay. Now, here's what's happened lately. I think there is a push, personally, I'll say this in public, to go ahead and force me out, try to badger me, harass me, and so forth and so on, and have me leave Del Mar College and go ahead and early retire or whatever. Okay? It ain't about to happen, folks. I've got a hot flash for Del Mar and for you, Dr. Escamilla. And now I think you're on that bandwagon to try to get rid of me. And that's my personal view of that. I'm not accusing you of that yet, but that's what it seems to be. Now, a lot of this garbage started when I had a person who's privileged take over a golly gee whiz type attempt to teach a majors microbiology class. I was never consulted. I taught all the micro for 25 years over there. So something yes. Okay. Now, I did voice my opinion, and I do not trust my department chair. You can look his name up. I'm not going to mention names here. And I guess he got upset that I have no respect for him left. I don't have any trust in him. So he got all in a snit and then started picking, cherry picking stuff to try to get rid of me. So here it is on February the 4th. I get this letter from him. Notification of recommendation for disciplinary action. Okay. Dr. Sansing, in accordance with Del Mar Policy B6.39.1, you are hereby notified that you have engaged in conduct upon which I am recommending disciplinary action as specified below. Since fall 2014, you have engaged in hostile and insubordinate behavior as evidenced by the following. Now, if I don't talk to somebody, is that hostile? Okay. If you don't have any faith in them and they won't speak the truth about you, then why should I want to talk to somebody like that? Okay. And like I say, I don't trust the man. Trust is gone. Respect is gone. Okay. Now, and then insubordinate. Now, I don't know what you consider to be insubordinate, but this is a pile of hooey as far as I'm concerned. It's called bovine excrement. But let me just read it, okay? I'm just being honest with all you folks out here. This is the kind of garbage that goes on far too often at Del Mar College. You have failed / refused to communicate with me except via email and handwritten type means. Well, is that insubordinate to say that I don't want to talk to you without a witness? And I clarified that. I don't want to talk to you at all, sir, because what you're going to do is if I talk to you, you're going to bend the truth and so forth and so on and go make up a whole bunch of lies about me, which you've already done. And why should I want to talk to you without a witness? So I want it in writing, sir. I want it on email and I want it in writing, okay? Typewriter, whatever you got, handwritten, I don't care. But I'm not about to talk to you without a witness present because I do not trust you. All right. So during the course of the physics program review, you have refused to communicate with me and at times completely failed to respond to my email inquiries regarding the status of the review. Well, I am not the program director of that, sir, and I never was. And why you want me to tell you what the progress is in there when all you have to do is pick up the phone or walk over next door to the Coles building and ask the physicist over there that's the program coordinator. Why are you down my neck with that? Now, I told you quite bluntly that when you are 2 feet away from me, your doorway, or less, okay, our offices are side by side, then when you email me a lot of stuff, I just stick my head around the corner and answer you. And here you've got the unmitigated gall to say that I don't answer this. Now, I talked to you about my feelings about the program chairman over there and his attitude that nobody's going to read that program review anyway. 3 of the 5 members were severely ill in one capacity or another during that program review. And why are you singling me out to keep you informed about that when I don't know what the hell's going on? You know, are you going to, is that conducive to a disciplinary action letter in my thing? We're going to find out. Okay, I resent the stuffings out of you claiming that it was up to me to keep you posted when you won't pick up the phone. I don't know if you didn't want to hear the truth or you're too damn lazy to do it or what, but you're the department chair over there. That program review falls in your lap. Physics is under your purview in our natural sciences department, and why you're accusing me of that, I don't know. I sat down and I told you one day what was going on and what the general attitude by that physicist was, that nobody reads it anyway. And then I told the same thing to Dean Halcomb over there when she asked me one day. So I don't think it was, I don't know that I was ever put in charge. I never even got an email from you or any communication putting me in charge of that physics program review. And then we've got other program reviews over there that haven't been done for 6-7 years. Okay, biotechnology is one of them. Now all of a sudden when I asked for a copy of any biotechnology program reviews that should have been done in a timely manner, then all of a sudden now we've formulated that program review committee. So, do you really think I'm that stupid, sir, that I don't know what you're up to? Okay, don't blame me when you're trying to cover your backside for something. And then it says, on January 6, 2015, I requested the bioreactor in the micro storage room be moved to, I'm not going to name his name, use this spring semester. Despite the fact the bioreactor was purchased in 2008 and it has never been used, you stated in an email response to me that faculty member and I could, quote, go straight to hell, claiming that you needed apparatus for your class this spring. Now, I demonstrate that, sir. We do not have the sterilization facilities to set that monster up. When it was purchased in 2008, I really didn't have any desire to have one of those. It's way beyond the capabilities of Del Mar College, especially if they won't buy the sterilization apparatus for that. And so if I maintain it, then why would I want to ship it down the hall to another professor's who's been given that micro class to have it broken down there? Why? Okay? Now, let me just back up for a second. That person, that other person, along with you and the dean, have ordered a tremendous amount of extremely expensive equipment on grant money. Okay? It's, we're not a research facility, and which you think it is, and it's this grandiose stuff, this golly gee whiz stuff that essentially high school high school classes are involved in the, quote, research business, and so I won't get into that. But I have requested several times in the past to be able to use some of that equipment, like a scanning electron microscope, and I was refused. You can't use that. That was purchased off of grant money. So, if I'm not privileged enough to use the equipment down there, gas chromatographs and mass specs and fancy microscopes and so forth and so on, confocal microscopes and fluorescing microscopes and all the fancy stuff that's been bought on the grant for research, then I think that's a double standard. So yeah, you can go straight to hell with that. I'll say it again, and I'm saying it in public, okay? I don't want that thing ruined down there, and there's no sense in having it down there when I do take my students in there and tell them what it is, and we talk about cell culture and so forth, and raising different organisms for antibiotic research and production and so forth, and that's a pilot plant, small beginning of when you scale things up. I've used them for years. Okay? But no, I'm not going to have it disappear down the hall and stuck on some shelf down there. And then, you know, if you can't use it, then buy your own. You got grant money, okay? Now, all you had to do was say, I'm going to go take it anyway, and I would have said, fine, get it out of my hair, and, you know, have it disappear down there in that black hole called the grant research laboratories and so forth, okay? I mean, I'm just being honest, folks. So, taxpayers out there, this ought to just incense you. And I'm sorry that I've got a backbone, and I'm not going to be lied to, I'm not going to be lied about, and I'm not going to be harassed and bullied for anything. I mean, I have no fear of you people, okay? And, you know, you've shown me how despicable you people are. Okay, we'll just see, I've got 15 minutes left. Okay, now, as a result of that, I'm recommending a disciplinary action that a written warning be placed in your employment file, including notice that a continuation of the above misconduct or other violations of Del Mar College policies be grounds for consideration for further action up to and including a recommendation of dismissal. Well, Chairman, Chairperson, why don't you go ahead and recommend that? That would give me the thrill of my lifetime if you'd pull that, okay? Because I've asked for information concerning this, and you and Del Mar College have denied me that access, okay? So, I don't know what else to tell you, okay? Now, I appealed that, and then I would like to say I appealed it to the president. That's where it was supposed to go, and then hearings were supposed to be held. Now, I have asked for information concerning this, so let me just go ahead and read that one. This letter to me was February the 4th, and on February the 9th I sent a Public Information Act request to the President Mark Escamilla, and this is what I'm asking for, okay? And this corresponds to 1, 2, 3, what I have been accused of over there. I said copies of the names of all persons on the current Del Mar College Physics Program Review Committee and the name of the chair of that committee. Okay? All right? Copies of any and all emails sent by my department chair between January 1, 2013 and the date of this request to any members of the Physics Program Committee and to the dean, okay, of the college Arts and Sciences, and any corresponding responses from said committee members. Okay? I need copies of any and all documents that were written by the chair and or any other Del Mar College employee after the illnesses of 3 of the members of the Physics Program Review Committee, indicating that me, Gerald Sansing, was placed in charge of the committee and that he was therefore responsible for completing the program review. 4, confirmation that Gerald Sansing had several verbal conversations with both the chair and the dean concerning the 3 committee members' illnesses and the resulting delay in completing the physics program review. Copies of any and all written documents referencing the communications between the review committee chair and my department chair and the dean. A copy of the current biotechnology program review. Okay? So I asked for that. And you know what I've got in response? You can't have it. Okay? Now, here's the response, and then I asked for some other things, folks. Now, I do know that there are certain faculty members over there in that department that the chairman over there, my chair, has jumped up and down, said will not communicate with him, hasn't for years, and he's been furious and very vocal about that to the rest of us faculty members. And now all of a sudden he's going to go after me and with disciplinary action and not going after the privileged one. Okay? All right. I'll leave it at that. Now here's another thing that I got back when I asked for this. I asked for all of those that information concerning the bioreactor. I want to know when it was purchased, who used it, why they didn't buy the appropriate sterilization mechanism so that that thing could be set up and used, and can't get that information. Okay? And then concerning the emails and so forth that I did not answer, I've asked for copies of all those. It should be documented, and you know, it should be in that files over there. And I also want to know about other people that have not answered emails. I want copies of those for the last 4 years. Okay, so here's what I get back. Okay, this is a letter from Graves, Daughtry, Heron, and Moody. This is an extremely expensive group of attorneys out of Austin, Texas. The particular attorney with them is William Christian, and here's what he sent me in relationship to my Public Information Act request. Okay, he says, bottom line, these aspects of the college's policy are similar to the ones that led your office to determine that the procedures for public grievances are conducted in a quasi-judicial forum and thus constitute litigation for the purpose of Section 552.103. That's the Texas Government Code. The same conclusion should be reached here. The pending appeal of a proposed disciplinary action against a faculty member at the college meets the first element of the litigation exception. So what he's telling me is that Del Mar College does not have to provide me with my defense information, and that I need to go into a hearing like that unprepared and without documentation and without due process, because they consider that to be a quasi-judicial forum. Now, I turned right around with that and I said, okay, then if this is going to be a judicial hearing, then sir, Mr. President, Dr. Mark Escamilla, I want that information under my discovery rights under judicial process. And you know what response I've got from that? Zero. Okay? So now he's pressing me to have that hearing, and I've told him, I said, I'm not going to any one of these hearings like that until I get the information I need to defend myself. So, you know, if you're purpose there, Dr. Escamilla and Board of Regents members and Mr. Christian and all these people is to get rid of me over there, then, you know, if you think people in the past had slam dunked the college and run up, you know, millions of dollars worth of attorney bills, then you just come after me. I mean, that's not a threat, that's a statement of fact. Because I do not fear you people. I have no fear whatsoever. Okay? All right. Now, then in reference to people not conforming to the common course numbering system and the standardization of basic course content for specific courses in this state, then I asked for information, and I said, this is to my chair. I said, please be advised that the signatories of this letter, being faculty members of the Department of Natural Sciences, respectfully request a departmental meeting of all biology faculty members and the dean to be established in order to discuss their instructional obligations based on the following: the state of Texas common course numbering system and its relationship to course content taught in all sections of a common course across the state. Now, we have a privileged faculty member that doesn't do that, okay? Doesn't conform to that. We've got this golly gee whiz, let's do all this research business, and then he writes papers at the national level saying that us traditional professors over there are mediocre, substandard, and the students suffer. They're not getting near what they should out of those courses, okay? Borderline slander as far as I'm concerned, pal. Okay, and then the implications of the Texas State House Bill 2504 on the teaching of standardized basic course content in specific biology classes. That does not happen over there in certain courses, and we wanted a meeting, okay? The obligations of our faculty to the teaching of basic common content in our biology classes, okay? And then the impact of obtaining grants on course content to be taught in our biology courses, and the obligations of the instructor of record to be present during all lecture and laboratory times. Not hire people to go in there and do it, not turn coursework and so forth, over to students to teach the class when you're not in the classroom and so forth and so on. So I asked for that, and then an undated email type document, my chair responded to this and said that no, we're not going to have this departmental meeting. That y'all can talk to us, faculty members, the 5 of you that signed that letter, one-on-one, and the dean can be present if you want to do that. Sir, I'm not going to go one-on-one with you under any circumstances, because I do not trust you. Okay? I have no respect for you, and I'm just putting it out in public. Okay? So if you want to tell these blatant lies about me and try to get me fired, then you're in for the battle of your life, pal. I'm just telling you that right up front, and that is not a threat. That is a statement of fact. Okay? And then I turned around and I asked the same thing, to have the president of the college call a meeting, since the department chair has shut us down. Okay? And then I sent that to him, hand-delivered that to him on April the 15th, and I have had absolutely no word from him whatsoever about conducting a faculty, biology faculty meeting. Okay? Now, I would like to say that I had warned Dr. Escamilla, my president, about the situation back on January 31st, 2015, that we had privileged faculty members over there, and that privilege extended from the department chair and the dean, and the former VPI, the Vice President of Instruction, and I assume Dr. Escamilla himself, is causing great distress over there in the department, and that it was about ready to erupt. I think that that's what the term I used. Okay, so then I went through and I asked some more questions of this, and I filed a response to some inquiries from Mrs. Tammy McDonald, who's our let's see, what does she claim to be? Executive Director of Human Resources and Administration, Del Mar College, Helden Fells Building. Okay, and she also says that she is the coordinator for the Public Information Act request. She's the one that answers those for the college, not the attorneys necessarily. Okay. All right, so I asked for other information, and then in here I said I would like to, and then in parentheses, as a Jew boy, requested any and all interviews be conducted in the presence of my chair, dean, president, you, and a witness of my choosing. Okay, this was in response to the privileged one filing a grievance against me, and that was turned down. Okay, now in that it says, I did have a concern about a reference you made in your email below using the term Jew boy. Your reference is the term as if it is a quote, and I wanted to follow up with you to see if anyone has used that reference, Jew boy, when referring to you. Well, yeah, they have. Okay. If this reference has occurred, you may file a complaint pursuant to policy so and so and so and so. Now, I wrote her back and I said the following. I've got just enough time to get through this, and I'm sorry I've got a whole bunch of other stuff here to go through, but next time. You are correct in assuming that I have been referenced to as an A or the Jew boy at Del Mar College. I find the term find that the term gas chamber is used in a recent Del Mar College sponsored holiday concert, as it was aired live on public radio, was much more offensive to me and the general public, and was not in the least bit humorous. Okay? Now, knowing what happens to a grievance filed through the Department of Human Resources at Del Mar College, I would not waste my time filing one out, okay, or filling one out. I tried it out once and found out that your department employees believe that references to gas chambers by Del Mar College employees is not only acceptable to your department and to Del Mar College administration, but such statements are considered humorous during the Christian holiday season. Okay? What a group. And that goes back to me filing a grievance against the faculty member out of music that made that statement, and the whole entire human relations department said that all the man was trying to do was to instill some humor in it. Okay, so I'm sorry out there that gassing 6 million Jews is humorous. Okay, and then killing another 2 million people. This is hilarious. I can't get over it. My diaphragm is aching from all of the humor that I find in that. I want to end it with the magnolia here, folks. You can email me at gsansing, S-A-N-S-I-N-G, @gmail.com, or go on YouTube and throw in Gerald, G-E-R-A-L-D, Sansing, and watch the show if you want to see it early. Good night.